Wales, Fiji. Well, this really was a great game. And I think something that was really cool to see between these two teams is that there wasn't really any of the nerves that we've seen with some other tier one nations so far in the competition. Both of these teams came in willing to play rugby, not afraid to do what they want to do on the field, didn't kind of crack under pressure or anything like that, and we had an amazing game out of it. First half was pretty tight. I thought it was probably a little bit more in Fijian. It was more of the Fijian ascent in terms of consistent pressure into Wales's half, but the score didn't show that up. Wales was still ahead. And then second half, we had Wales have basically 20 minutes of dominance that I haven't seen from Wales in a really long time, and it's very, very cool to see. They were playing really freely. Liam Williams is doing like pops off the floor. Biggar is like doing some amazing kicks. Like everyone's just playing with a freedom that I've never really seen Wales play for. I guess that maybe comes from a complete lack of expectation of the team. Obviously the warm-up games, there was the thrashing of South Africa for them. Their Six Nations wasn't great, and obviously they've had a lot of turmoil in terms of a lot of people retiring, etc. So this is what can happen if expectations are removed. Players that are professional players that are really good at their job can play freely with no pressure on their backs. I did think the game was over after the yellow card for Fiji. Wales are in the ascendancy, more than two scores ahead from Fiji. Fiji did a fantastic job of coming back into the game. They did come back into the game because a Welsh substitute came on and gave away the stupidest yellow card like I've seen in quite a long time. That basically almost lost Wales the game because it meant that they were playing 14 on 14. But I don't want to take anything away from Fiji with their comeback. They played some sensational rugby to get back into the game. And it's so sad to see a legend like Randrandra knock the ball on from a pass that would have won Fiji the game, and that was the difference right at the end of it. It's the same for all sports, all team sports specifically. It's really sad to see someone who is usually the complete bedrock of a team, like the best player on the pitch most of the time, like make a mistake that they rarely make a mistake doing. Like he doesn't really knock it on very often. So kind of sad for him. But as the commentators said, Fiji have got a bonus point from this for both being within 7 points for the loss and also for the tries that they scored. So, I mean, all to play for Fiji. And if, I don't know, maybe Australia finds some form, but they could be ripe for the taking if Fiji play like they did today. My prediction is I thought it was going to be Australia and Fiji going through in this group. I think this is Group C. But it could be that we see Wales and Fiji. I still believe Fiji have a really good chance of making it through to the group stages. So, really, really good game. Probably, I've not watched all the games this weekend. Obviously, you saw, well, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you saw that for the New Zealand game, I was somewhere else, so I didn't watch the games on Saturday. But out of all the games that I have watched this weekend, it was definitely the most free and therefore the most exciting to watch. Going through some of my notes, I think Tompkins for Wales on the inside centre, probably won man of the match for me personally. I wanted to get the video out quite quickly as it's getting a little bit late here over in England, so I don't see who they gave man of the match to. But Tompkins, his ability to create space on the outside by picking great lines, finding spaces, if not creating spaces by sucking players into him, really was really instrumental for Wales. Twice it allowed George North to really break the line in a really great way to set up tries. And I know on George North as well, obviously, I think it's really rare for a player to be an international level. I think it's even rarer for someone to play an international level at two positions and be just as good. George North has been a sensational winger most of his life. And playing at that outside centre position, again, he's just sensational. Outside centre is a very technical position in terms of positioning and where you need to be at all times, what lines you need to take, and George plays it very, very well. So it's that centre partnership that they have really is the fuel for that team. Their wingers are also fantastic. Rees-Zammit, speedy boy, man, he's so quick. And Adams today had a great game. That tackle he made that stopped the momentum on a Fijian attack, I mean, he was so fired up for it. I mean, he got me fired up watching over here. It was mental. I saw one try from Fiji that was really interesting because it was set up by a solid scrum. Fiji are really just every week getting better and better at the stuff in the tight. And the way I see Fiji before used to be like if you owned like a Ferrari engine, you had like the most expensive suspension, but you didn't actually have like a frame to put all these bits of a car on. The frame being a solid scrum, a solid line out, good tight play. And I feel that now that Fiji have created this this car frame to put these great pieces on that are really more excelled than other teams, they can like exponentially grow, and they have exponentially grown. And it's just so cool to see that they're being this competitive just because they've got the basics and the pillars right now. So great to see from them. Can't wait to watch more of their tight play coming into the World Cup and how that opens up their loose play, which they've always been famous for. The commentators kept talking about Welsh fitness and that they've been working on it quite a lot. And I did notice that towards the end of the game, other than the resurgence of Fiji at the end, it did look like Wales was starting to out-fitness the opposition. They were out-fitnessing, I don't think that's a word, but you know what I mean, Fiji. The reason that I think that is that on, I think one of their tries in the second half, they outmauled the opposition. They outmauled the opposition from a line out, and that was typically Fiji were very good at actually defending that. But I think they just started to give way. They also made mistakes in terms of a couple of penalties. They tried to kick for the corner and they missed. It just seems like these are mistakes that were like being gassed mistakes, which is interesting because you've got to do a hell of a lot of fitness to be fitter than the Fijians. So it's a difficult one. I don't know if you can really tell that without being on the pitch watching it or being within the stadium and watching it. So it's more just like an observation more than something that I think is just a plain fact. But interesting to see, and it could be a difference for Wales compared to other teams, and maybe it's something to watch to see if it is real. And that's it for me. It's unfortunate someone had to lose this game. We had two teams play really, really well. Fiji, no surprise, they play well. They've been in some really great form. And for Wales, after obviously being slapped around by South Africa, really positive to see them coming into this World Cup with the attitude that they have and the fitness that they have, and the play that they're doing. It looks organised, it looks good. They're fired up, they seem passionate, which is great to see. So looking forward to seeing both of these teams play again in the World Cup. So that's it from this weekend.
Illuminati confirmed.